major numbers in our local Tri-Cities market that are unseen before. In the meantime, we've had delays in building. The builders haven't been able to put the number of homes on the market that they normally would have because of delays and because of permits and because of shipping and supplies not getting in.
Right here on News Talk 870.
Good morning. This is Lance Kenmore with the Kenmore team, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's edition of the Tri-Cities Real Estate Update. As always, you can contact me, Lance Kenmore, anytime direct on my cell phone at 727-8977 or visit us on the web at kenmoreteam.com. Once again, I always like to thank John at the station for working to make this happen. Mr. John McKay, how you doing over there?
Well, and getting ready for the warm weather, supposedly starting tomorrow and then through Tuesday.
But we've been prepped for it. We've already had this.
Yes, but we're getting another excessive heat period.
Yeah, we are. It seems like we always get kind of an extra one here at the end, and that is keeps those HVAC guys running and gunning. I know on the property management side of things, we had a couple AC replacements over the last couple weeks, and it can stress those systems out. So be ready for that. Well, one of the things we always like to do before we get started on our regular topic is we like to have a little bit of fun with celebrity real estate stories. And it looks like John Bon Jovi has been flipping on a prayer. See what I did there, McKay? Yeah. Okay, gotcha. I'm in full cheese mode today. So he recently sold a property. So in 2018, he spent $10 million in Palm Beach, Florida on an oceanfront property. Then, get this, he promptly mowed the house down. So it was basically a $10 million lot.
Wow.
Mowed the house down, put a new villa on it, and then recently flipped that for $20 million. And then on the same day, he purchased a $43 million villa in the neighborhood. Now get this too. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I'm a little bit jealous of his agent because it said in the article that he helped him. He represented him selling the $20 million. Then it was a pocket listing, the $43 million. Which, what pocket listing means in the real estate world is it's a property that a client has told their real estate agent, hey, I don't want to put this on the market. I don't want to put this out there in the public. But if you had the right buyer, like if John Bon Jovi just showed up, I would sell it to him. Wow. So he had a pocket listing, meaning that basically he was on both sides of the $43 million sale. So that's basically $86 million in business in real estate terms for the agent, plus the $20 million that he helped him sell. I mean, this guy did $106 million in real estate in basically the last 2 weeks. So yes, if you're hearing, I need to stop, because if you're hearing a little jealousy come out in my voice, it takes me most of the year to do $106 million dollars, and that makes us the top team in Tri-Cities when we do that. So pretty crazy, fun to look at those numbers. But what's happening is these vacation type areas and these second home areas. And if you look around the Northwest, you look at Sandpoint, you look at Coeur d'Alene, these agents are reporting record years, and these second home communities are flying off the market, and the prices are increasing drastically because what's happening right now is people are able to now work from home, right? And they don't want to quarantine in a big urban area with everything that's going on in these areas. And so they're like, geez, if I'm able to telecommute and work from home, well, instead of doing that in, my house in downtown Richland, I'm gonna do it on the lake shore of Lake Coeur d'Alene. and so we're seeing that happen. We're seeing a huge amount of interest in this. And so it's no different. It's even bigger numbers for the luxury market and the stars that are spending millions and millions of dollars to have these estates to be able to escape to quarantine. So we're seeing it in our market too, and kind of in a very similar trend. We've been helping a number of people that are selling $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 condos in Seattle and Portland. They're coming to Tri-Cities, buying $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 homes after selling those condos, and now they have 4,000 square feet to live in, a yard to be in, why they telecommute. So on a different scale, we're seeing that exact same trend here in Tri-City. So really interesting to look at a celebrity news story like that and then break down how those trends are also affecting us locally. So now we get to what has been happening also on the national scale in real estate news that affects you here locally. And once again, we talked about what's going to happen with the bottleneck of COVID and the changes, and when is it really going to start to hit the real estate market and see some of those trends happening? Well, here's a national trend with news released this week, which is a pretty big deal, and that is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac announced this week, and they're the largest buyers of what we call the secondary market of mortgage. So when you go to your mortgage lender and you go to Homebridge or you go to Umpqua or First Security, you get your loan done. Once that loan closes, those companies are packaging those loans up, and then they are selling them to Freddie Mae or to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And so what's happening now is they have come out and said what market is doing really, really well. Well, the refinance market. The refinance market with the low interest rates has been absolutely on fire. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac says, hey, because of COVID, because of people not paying, because of mortgages mortgage payments being delayed or restructured, we are going to have some losses in this market. And now interest rates are really low. How are we going to recoup those losses? We are going to put what's called an adverse market refinance fee of 0.5%, 0.5%. And so they announced that those are going to be for cash out and non-cash out refinances. So now anybody going to refi, what they're going to have is they're going to have an extra 0.5% fee on their refi, almost across the board. So just an example of that, a very good example. So Tri-Cities, we've been running at an average price. We're going to talk about average price just around $300,000. So an example came out that said, let's say you're getting a loan for $290,000. That'd be a likely scenario in the Tri-Cities. That 0.5% will end up costing the lender an additional $1,456. So it's a decent chunk of change there. What's interesting right now is that for lenders out there, there's a lot of lenders. This takes effect September 1st. There's a lot of lenders out there that already locked. So they've locked and they've given the disclosures and the rates to their clients. They're probably going to end up eating that $1,400.
Wow.
Now, the way the economics works, the way the market works, what do you think is going to happen after September 1st with people that they have not locked? Who do you think is going to pay that fee, McKay?
Well, the people are.
The people are. I mean, you nailed it. So as soon as they possibly can, you're going to see the lenders passing that fee on to the clients. And so basically that's either going to be done in rate, where rates are going to go up a little bit, or it's going to be additional closing costs. So this is really just in response to the COVID losses that those big entities are expecting to have. And with high refinance activity, in fact, I think it's been 12 straight weeks, the article said, of year-over-year growth in that sector. They look at it and say, where can we get this money? Where can we make it up? Boom, they go to the refinance market, and that's where they're going to be getting some of that.
So when someone refinances the 290, they're going to be paying an extra, well, you said $1,400?
Yeah, roughly $1,400 to $1,500.
Now, are they going to tack that on, or do they have to pay it up front?
They're going to, it's going to be paid up front as a fee. So
like a closing fee,
yes,
doc fee.
And if somebody doesn't want to pay it up front, then some lenders will probably choose to spread that over with rate, where you might not get that 3% rate. You might be at 3.25. You know, they might bump the rate up a little bit. So we'll probably see this already start to be reflected into pricing, and just one of those things where it's a COVID issue that's affecting what's going on in the market. Now, granted, the rates have been super low. That's why everybody's refinancing. They're historically low still. I don't think it'll prevent a ton of the refinancing, but it'll definitely, I think we'll see it put the brakes on it just slightly. There'll be a little blip in the market, and you will see that reflected, and you'll see people asking about what's going on there. Now, we take this down to a local number, and I got to tell you, there are some major numbers in our local Tri-Cities market that are unseen before. Absolutely brand new trend coming out in the local Tri-Cities market. And it's a scary number. So, McKay, you know how I talk about, we have inventory levels in the 400s and the 500s for our active number of listings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're in the 400s and we're at like DEFCON level 5.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Well, I think there's a new DEFCON level. So Tri-City Association of Realtors, they kind of take a snapshot of the market at August 1st, and then they release that data so that people can see trends in what's happening there. So when that snapshot was taken, we were looking at active residential listings at 398.
Ooh.
398. I mean, it is DEFCON level 10 now for listings.
Wow.
when we look at that. So here's the kicker, though. A new number that we have not seen in the last 4 years. And part of this, here's where we have COVID clashing with inventory issues. The total number of sold in July, obviously there was a bunch of pent-up demand, 530 sold. So here we go, and I'm always telling you about number of months of inventory, meaning if no new homes came on the market, how much inventory would we have? And I always tell you, a balanced market is a 6-month supply.
Yeah.
Anything below that is a seller's market. Anything above that is a buyer's market. So generally, we've been running at around a 1-month supply, or sometimes we'll see a 1.5 month supply. And I'm always like, man, that's a multiple offer market. I mean, when we're seeing stuff come on the market, multiple offers. So if you have 530 sold in 1 month, and now our active listing inventory is down to 398 homes, that is less than a 1 month supply. And now we're talking about basically a 3-week supply of homes if no new homes came on the market.
Wow.
Those numbers are they're slightly unbelievable. In fact, you look at this and you're like, that's got to be a typo. I mean, I didn't think our market could still trend that way. Well, it did in July. And what I think we have happening is we had a lot of pent up demand. We had a lot of people. We were still in phase one. They weren't out looking. They weren't out ready to buy. We get to our modified phase. We get to our, modified phase one. We get a few more people out looking. Rates are still super low. In the meantime, we've had delays in building. The builders haven't been able to put the number of homes on the market that they normally would have because of delays and because of permits and because of shipping and supplies not getting in. So now we have a larger inventory issue when we needed it to go the other way. We have more people out buying, and basically we have a number that I've practically never before seen in Tri-Cities. So brand new territory here. And we have less than a 1 month supply of homes. The average sales price hit an all-time high in July, and that came in at $356,000.
Wow.
The median, which is a number some people are like, oh, Lance, the average, that just blows it out of proportion. What's the median? The median price coming in at $334,000. I got a sheet here that goes back to 2017. I stopped looking after 2017. I guess I could have gone back, but I don't think I'm going to find it.
No.
I mean, this is the highest prices that we have ever seen in this market. And so COVID is continuing to drive the market in a direction that a lot of people, I think, would say was unexpected. So it's one portion of the market that pricing wise, I wouldn't say it's been unaffected, but it's actually driven the average prices up. There's still a huge demand, low interest rates, and now we have even more people wanting to move here because of what's going on. So I got to tell you, there are some sellers this month that are pretty freaking happy with us because we got some prices for some properties that sometimes you're just, they're driven up in multiple offer situation. You're not sure how long that's going to last. So the hard part of the situation that we're going to talk a little bit about today is if you do sell, where are you going to go? Yeah. And so not every price point is moving exactly the same. So the advantages that you can really take advantage of right now is if you're selling something less than 300,000 or around 300,000 and you want to purchase at 500. That's a great move right now because under 300, you're going to get probably the most we've ever seen you be able to get for your home in Tri-Cities. Now, above 500, that market is still good, but it's not as good as that lower segment price. So you're more likely to be able to find something, to be able to get a deal on that property, as opposed to if you're looking in 300 and below right now, you're just not going to find a bargain. And if you do, you have to be ready to move on it extremely quickly. So there's segments that we look at, and we have to do a little more work to what is the best segment to be selling in versus the best segment to be buying in. And if you are buying and want to start taking advantage of potential more appreciation as more people move here, we're going to talk about potentially looking at new construction to get you into the market when we come back from our first break.
Right here on News Talk 870.
Welcome back to the Tri-Cities Real Estate Update. Today we've been talking about the market. And it's just been a hot market with some crazy average price points that came up in the last month or two. A lot of built up demand that finally broke loose. People got out. We're able to be looking at houses a little bit more. And we put together some record numbers for the number of homes sold in July, like numbers that we have never seen before in Tri-Cities. And so, yeah, it's always a little different. People are asking me, what's going on in the market? How fast is it moving? Well, it's moving extremely fast. And, I was excited a couple of weeks ago. We did the show on multiple offers, how to handle that, how to maximize value. And we're just seeing it in deal after deal right now. So from a seller's standpoint, if you have a home that is around that $300,000 range, or even $350,000 and below, you've thought about selling or you've thought about upgrading, there's probably never been a time that you could maximize your value there. So then it becomes down to, well, what do I move to? Where can sure, I'm going to make a lot of money there, but am I also going to spend the same amount in my new house that I think might be overpriced? So you got to kind of look at that. And one of the things we've been selling a lot of recently is pre-sale new construction. Just because when there's a low inventory market, we can look at that pre-sale new construction and see what is possible. And I've got to tell you, we've had everybody from, we've got entry-level townhomes, brand new construction at $194,000 that we can help people get into, to new custom builds at $750,000 and everything in between. But we've been sitting down more and more with buyers saying, okay, if we get your house sold, then now we can maximize your return, and we have the data numbers to show in the best selling months we've seen probably ever in Tri-Cities. And you can go into a short-term rental with us, a 4 to 6 month rental, and we've got lots of options for those through our property management company, and then get a brand new house built the way that you want to have it built. So that's a really popular choice in a low inventory market. So a couple things that my buyer agent team is able to do, and actually, I think when I ran out of the office, I was compiling the rest of my data today and coming over here, I looked over and both conference rooms were full, and they were doing new build construction meetings in there, and they were going over some of the things that the buyer needs to know. And number one that we're looking at is, what builders are you talking to? Yes. We can help you find a reputable builder. And then on top of that, those aren't normal purchase and sale agreements. So when you look at it, we have our normal purchase and sale agreements, but builders, and everyone's a little bit different, has a builder addendum. And what does that builder addendum mean for you? And that's when our agents can really help go to bat for you, because there's going to be different language builder to builder. And so in these addendums, they might have a finishing schedule and what the penalties are if they don't make that finishing schedule, and what maybe your penalties are if you're not ready to close when they are done. And so we can go through what those terms look like. We can look at what those warranties are that builder is offering, and what your options for inspection are. And so there's a lot to consider when you're trying to find a new construction builder like that. And we have experts on our buyer agent team that are great at going through and looking at what that is. We have some amazing builders that we work with, so we can help people get matched up with what a good match is for their needs and where they can build. And then another thing that comes down to that people a lot of times don't think about, and I really kind of, as I was taking notes this week as we were doing some of those consults, and that is your agent can go through and help you with lot selection. Because every lot is not created the same. Equal. and it's going to come down to, do you entertain on the patio in the evenings? Are you out there a lot? So if that's the case, then maybe you want an east-facing patio so that you get that evening shade. Or if maybe the east-facing patio lots have a premium on them, and you decide, well, I don't do a ton of entertaining, but I'll go west-facing lot. Well, if that's the case, then do we want to add a covered patio extension on there so that if you decide to use that space, you can? So there's a lot to think about with those upgrades, and we can kind of take you through that situation and look at what upgrades are the best upgrades for me. The other thing that we talked a little bit about too before the break is we talked about market segment pricing. And that's really important right now. I was sitting with a client this week and he said to me, I said, hey, I really think that what you have in this location, based upon the comparables, warrants $325,000. And he goes, well, that sounds in the range, Lance, but I got to tell you, I've seen these other homes that for like 280 sell, and they were complete garbage. And I have XYZ, and ABC. And why am I only at 325? Because the 280 stuff, man, I can't believe they're getting that for it.
Junk.
So we had to kind of go through the segments and what happens. And so if we look at 300 and below, and I just walked him through this, we pulled up the comps. If we look at 300 and below, the options are very, very, very limited. So you might see something that you consider junk to sell at 280, and you're sitting there at 325 and you're like, gosh, well, if that seems close to me. 280 to 325 seems close. Well, it does seem close to you, but now we have to look at what your competition is at 325.
Oh, yeah.
And so now things start to expand a little bit. You get that extra bedroom and you get maybe an outbuilding now. And so when we did that, he's like, okay, I get it. And I said, when we get below 300, it's a game changer for what you're going to get and what the pricing is. And really, I know that $40,000 doesn't seem like a lot to this particular seller I was with. He was like, man, that doesn't seem like a big difference for me. And I said, yes, but when you look at what a first-time home buyer is looking at, and if they're trying to stretch their budget a little bit, sometimes $10,000 is a big stretch,
deal.
and we've got debt to income ratios to look at. So we just had to sit down and say, who's your target market? What is your segment of pricing, and what does the competition look like? And once we go through that scenario and, have 45 minutes or an hour together, we can really kind of narrow down what that looks like and how you can take advantage of market segment pricing. So we're doing a lot of those consults right now. We're doing a ton of new construction consults. We're coming into the office. We're looking at those upgrades. We're looking at what lots available and trying to help solve the inventory issues for the buyers on that end. Really is a crazy time. And I'm not just talking about because of COVID. I'm talking about these statistics and these numbers that we're going over. We're seeing trends and stuff in the Tri-Cities market that we've just never seen before. So For me, it's a lot of fun to dig into those numbers, extrapolate the information that we need to help our buyers and sellers make the best decisions. If you have any questions about that, go to kenmoreteam.com and shoot us a message. I am going to sneak in. I'll have to be quick. I know we're running out of time, but I am going to sneak in a quick pick 3 here.
Yep.
I had mentioned this briefly in a coming soon that it's now on the market, but 466011 North Gap Road. This is the Barrel Springs Vineyard and Winery. If you want to quarantine in your own winery, I think this is a great option and a place to quarantine. So absolutely stunning property. You've got a 3,156 square foot house on the property. You've got it's 4-bedroom, 3-bath ranch home. You've got a private entrance in the basement that would be a perfect B&B or possibly a 4th bedroom. Modern island kitchen with granite counters. 5-acre mature vineyard. Comes with Cab Sauv, Petit Verdot, and Chardonnay vines. They have 17 gold and silver awards. So this whole business opportunity, the property and everything, that's coming in priced at $875,000. Great property for everything that you're getting. Pick number 2, 3566 Regent Street. This is that super sought after South Richland location. 3-bedroom, 2-bath with an office, stucco rambler. That's in Brookshire Estates, just over 2,500 square feet. Great curb appeal, huge kitchen, tons of counter space, gorgeous wood floors, large walk-in pantry, really dialed in property. Split bedroom design gives you privacy. And that's coming in at $429,900. Great property. And then pick number 3, 4 West 3rd Avenue in Kennewick. This is a potentially furnished opportunity if you liked the furnishings in the house. This is 1866 square feet, tons of updating, historical 1904 house that's been redone, so you get kind of that historical charm in downtown Kennewick there. 4 bedroom, 2 bath. You've got a covered front porch. You've got a formal living room with fireplace. They've done LVP flooring as part of the updates. Super cool property, and it comes with a 40 by 22 4-bay shop.
Wow.
So you're getting all of that, and that's priced at actually, I think I misstated in the beginning of the ad. That's now priced at $318,000.
Wow.
That's a great property. So even with the limited inventory that's out there, there's still some great properties, and we have a pipeline of coming soon properties. We can put you on the list so that when they pop up immediately, you're notified. Go to kenmoreteam.com. Tell us what you're looking for. We'll get you put on that list and get you set up for alerts. And we'll be right back here next week discussing real estate.
Right here on News Talk 870.